I'm going to open a brand new watercolor sketchbook, test a fresh palette and brushes, and then paint a portrait to see what this setup can really do. We will swatch, mix, do a few quick brush exercises, and also there's a giveaway, so stick around for the details. This video is sponsored by Strathmore. Huge thanks to them for sending this full sketchbook package along with beautiful Princeton brushes and a Maimeri Blu palette. And I love that these are high quality supplies that are still genuinely affordable. This is not even my first Strathmore sketchbook. I already have two of the same ones filled from previous years. I've received the package today and I want to open it with you. Oh my gosh! This is incredible. I already am loving it. Let's see what Strathmore sent me to use in my videos and to gift to some of you. This is a sketchbook that I know. This is Strathmore 400 series watercolor sketchbook. This is cellulose paper, but it's 300 GSM and I always kind of liked working on this sketchbook. I can use small size as well as A4 size. I do like larger sketchbooks to be able to do all of the splashes and the watercolor effect. So there is a bunch of sketchbooks here. I am curious about this palette. I want to open this carefully so that I don't scratch the metal here. This is Maimeri Blu, an artist-grade watercolor pen set. Usually I prefer to work with tubes just because they're more versatile, and I do create some artworks that are larger size and I need more paint. But oftentimes when I travel, I take pens with me because that is very practical on the other hand. So this is a beautiful set. We will swatch that later and check what kind of brushes we have. So this line of brushes is a assortment of Aqua Elite brushes from Princeton. I have worked with this brand before and I absolutely loved it. These are not sable but synthetic brushes. Many people are looking for alternative to sable brushes and this is something that you can consider. Round brushes are actually the ones that I use most for portrait painting. Larger ones, mid ones, smaller ones, they come in very handy, and a bunch of detailed brushes that I have to test. They also sent travel brushes which are fantastic. One special type that I think is new in Princeton line is this Aqua Elite Prism brush, and they sent me number 12, 8 and 4, and I really want to test these. They have a triangular shape which is great for your grip, and I think they will be perfect for some of the botanical elements that I want to maybe incorporate in one of my paintings that I will do today. I want to briefly start by swatching this beautiful set. This is cobalt green light. I need to clean the top of this pen slightly, but this color is so lovely. I don't use greens in my palette enough because I try to mix my own. Like, my swatches are never too perfect. They're always kind of messy. Let's continue with the other one. Green gold. It's not a problem to get this sticker off, but it would be more helpful if it was not on the top of the watercolor. That's green gold. Another one is cobalt blue. Oh my, this is my favorite color. I use it all the time for portraits. It's like I'm packing a chocolate. Really looks beautiful. Next one is ultramarine blue. Looks purple on the cover. We will see if that's a traditional hue or if that's purple. This is gorgeous. No, this is violet. So if you ordered ultramarine blue but expect a traditional, this is a violet one. Okay, next one, raw umber. Very helpful. Raw umber, this is a nice, lovely yellowish, earthy pigment. Beautiful, rich color. Okay, nice one to have in this set. This one is a neutral tint, also very helpful. And then here I see a lot of earth tones, great for portrait painting. So this is pearl orange. It looks nice and vivid. Okay, next one is cadmium yellow deep. Oh boy, this is beautiful pigment. Cadmium pigments are the best when it comes to how rich they are. They're kind of buttery texture. And the next one is golden ochre. This one is transparent, I guess non-staining the way it feels. It's less creamy, but will be beautiful for transparent washes. Okay, next one is Cadmium Red Light. Gosh, this set is just perfect for portraits. It has all of the right colors that I use for portraits normally. I did not even realize. Another cadmium pigment that is beautiful, rich, creamy, buttery, lovely to work with. And then this one, it is burnt sienna, of course. This can be such an important color in a set like this. Wonderful! And so this is the final range of colors included in this set. I would like to test some of these supplies right away, and for today's demo I've chosen Strathmore 400 series watercolor sketchbook. This one is the largest size, 21 by 27 or so inches. I will be using 5 of these brushes that best fit the type of sketch that I'm going to paint today. All are Princeton Aqua Elite Quill number 6, the other one is Prism number 4. Then there's round brushes, 2 of them, numbers 8 and 2. And the last one is this beautiful rigger brush, number 8. The go-to brush for swatches will be this simple round brush, number 8. Round brushes usually are your go-tos when it comes to watercolor painting. They're like most versatile type, you can use them for anything at all. This palette contains this beautiful cadmium yellow deep, so I'm gonna do a swatch here. And then I have cadmium red, which is something that I use in my regular palette as well. You can mix the two here on the palette. Add a lot of water. You have to dilute the mixture. Add some of the orange and you get a skin tone here. Look at this. Now this particular skin tone, because the cadmium yellow deep is quite shiny and saturated, which I like, we might add a bit more red and create a skin tone that's a bit more on the red side that can come in handy. But you can let the yellow-orange prevail. And here is a skin tone that's more on the yellow side. Then something that I regularly use and will also use it today is the cobalt blue here. When you mix it with cadmium yellow deep, this cobalt blue, it creates this beautiful vivid green. And you can use that to cool down the skin tone as well. I use more of it again, but that's just different ratio of the same colors. And when you mix it into skin tone, you get a skin tone that is a little deeper. This is how you can cool your skin tone. This color is very helpful. Colors that I find super interesting and I want to use in today's demo is this ultramarine blue from Maimeri. And look at this. This is not the ultramarine that I'm used to. It is more purple, but it has absolutely wonderful shade of purple. I definitely want to use this one in the demo. I want to swatch it here. Oh, and we're definitely going to use the neutral tint. When water sits on top of these pans, the pans, they get workable and you can get the pigment out of them more easily, which is something that's gonna help us when we do details and need a bit more creamier color. This is the neutral tint. You can feel sort of a battery texture. When you dilute them, they remain transparent. It doesn't get chalky with the drawing. When you work the color with water, basically it creates an opaque mixture of color, and the neutral tint definitely can do that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. This is a beautiful palette already. The green gold, this is one of the colors that I love, absolutely love to use also. Look at this, is gorgeous. This color goes very well with this type of ultramarine or purple that we have here. So I would like to use these 2 colors as a center of my color composition today. You can even compare, we created the greens before with mixing the blue and the cadmium yellow deep, but this is good and sort of a muted green. This one is more saturated, and then I want to use pops of orange to get the green that's deeper. We can mix the green gold with neutral tint and we're going to get something like this. I think I'm going to utilize the red in this composition as well, because the red, it will go fantastic with these colors. So now let's do some very quick brush exercises to maybe figure out how to best utilize our brushes, what kind of marks they can make. I will start with some colors that I already have on my palette. This is still the round brush number 8. You can use that even for laying down basic washes. They're synthetic, but they can still take quite a large amount of water. Here. So you can lay down the washes with them. You can use them with only clean water on your brush to create these diluted edges. At times you have to load your brush a couple of times to make sure that there's always enough water and paint on the brush. These brushes kind of always have a belly here where they hold the water and paint, and they also have quite sharp tip. This is one main advantage of synthetic brushes, is that you can draw with them very precisely. They hold their shape even better than sable brushes, and so you can use them for writing, for basically drawing in the details. I like to also use them for creating different shapes. Here we can use these shapes to paint botanical motifs, essentially. One more technique that I like to do and probably will do with this brush is the dry brush technique, and that is when you load your brush with pigment. I like to split the hairs a little bit like this. Maybe use tissue to get rid of the excess and then do this. See? This produces some sort of texture on the paper that has some texture. So this is the dry brush. And it works very well with the round brush. You just have to split the hair before you do the mark. Round brush is very versatile. You can use for a whole range of watercolor techniques. Never mind if you paint portraits, botanicals, or landscapes. It will work for anything. And now I want to work a little bit more with the quill. Quill essentially is a brush that can help you create large washes. I will use the quill in this demo to put down huge amounts of water like this. It can cover large areas pretty quickly, which is important if you want to preserve the transparency of watercolor and the freshness. It also has a nice tip, so if I ever need to do sharp details, I could actually do that with the quill. It's all synthetic hair, which is why it holds the shape very well. This is the new brush from Princeton Aqua Elite, and it's called Prism. What's different about this brush, and I've never painted with a brush like this before, it has ergonomic triangular shape like this. It will be very effective in painting many specific shapes, and I had the idea that I will try to use it for botanical motifs that I want to use in today's demo. I still don't know how that's going to work. Let's do some exercises and test it out. This is the red paint, and I want this brush to be loaded with paint. It has a little bit different structure, different shape than regular round brush. So I will first try to find one point where I touched my paper and just like stamp the paper with it. So I'm gonna have to load a bit more and just create a stamp and lift. And these are absolutely lovely, so I probably could use it for painting flowers and florals. So the way you do these different shapes with your watercolor brush is to first just touch the paper with only the tip of your brush, basically drawing a line. It is unbelievable how thin line can be created with such a large brush. And then when you hold a little bit and push a little bit towards the paper, the line gets thicker and you still just draw a line. Try to do the combination of all these. Start with a thin line, draw a line very slowly, and then slowly press while drawing the line, and then lift again while drawing a line. You can use a bit more paint and do this again. So I'm just holding and then pressing and drawing the line all of the time. You can do this very slowly. One more time. Start with thin line and then press a little bit and then lift. This is one of the essential watercolor techniques for creating botanicals, but also this brush that allows me to have a bit more control than regular round brush, which also can be used for these kind of shapes. And it's not just the leafy shapes. We can draw a line, we can do these stamps with it. The round brush number 2 is simple, but you can draw with it. All of the detailed brushes are made for drawing the tiny details. But the rigger brush is something that I also like because you can do huge, like long lines. Never mind if you do botanical painting or if you just want to create hair, this is what the rigger is for. I absolutely love using it. So now that I did the warm-up, I love a lot of these botanical looking shapes which I want to incorporate in today's design. So I want to create a stylized portrait. Sketchbook is for learning techniques, exploring. For me personally, it's mainly about the ideas. I have a reference photo here. This is my friend that I took a photo of. I'm not going to stick to the reference too closely. I just want to use it as a main guide to where the facial features are. Let's sketch this. I would like the face not to be too big. Straight lines to map out basic features of the face. This is maybe even too large. Top of the head here. Then here is going to be the shoulder, and very quickly mapping out the nose, and then here's going to be the brows, and then here the eyes. I like to be very sketchy in my sketchbooks, and this paper completely supports that approach. In the second stage of the drawing process, I tend to go over with kneaded eraser, lighten the sketch, and then refine some of the features of the face. In my sketchbooks, I sometimes like to map out. If I see that there is an area of shadow, then I don't mind using a little bit of the hatching with my mechanical pencil. It's a great indicator where to place the shadows and the deeper tones. Lighten the sketch. And I will start with color. And my color approach is more or less very intuitive, but I always have figured out in advance what colors I want to use, so that's one of the most important things. This is the combination that I want to dominate this motif. Well, I had to spend a couple of more minutes fixing her eyes because it was just all wrong to me, and this is what I came up with. I think it's a little better than before. For a sketch, it's fine. So let's get to coloring. I am not going to create tilts or anything for now, because this is a sketch. I do not mind my technique being a little bit imperfect. I want to start maybe with the skin tones. I have them pre-mixed here. From the testing of the colors, there's the yellow orange and the cadmium red. And there I go. It's just as simple as this. I try to maybe avoid parts that I realize are slightly highlighted here in this area. Use clean water for some areas. Sometimes on the pulp paper, colors are more vivid than on the cotton and fade less, and therefore I try not to have such intense mixture so that I don't have to afterwards remove too much. Maybe use a bit more water. I'm going to place color everywhere I see that there is just their skin tone present here, and a little bit of the pure cadmium red to the areas like nose and here the cheek, but then connect everything with clean water here and here as well. And into the skin tone I'm going to mix a little bit of the cobalt blue to create a mixture that's a little just cooler. So it's gonna be a bit greener even in this bottom part. And then red again for the lips. Maybe a little bit of diluted cobalt blue for the insides of the eye. Those are never white, almost never white. I do want to use the quill brush now. Maybe do large washes of the colors that we want to pop throughout this composition. So the first one is the green gold. I'm going to mix some of it, and I will try to experiment with colors. This is going to be random. Pops of yellow, and I usually just start with the colors that are lightest, so that the darker colors, they very quickly can overpower these. And now I want to sort of use tilt to let the color float and create some abstractions. Oh, I have to be careful not to mix red with green, because that creates a type of brown that I do not want now. I just want clean colors, for now at least. Now let's use the Prism brush and paint some beautiful, maybe florals, and maybe some of the leaves as well. So I want to use green, but also with a little bit of the neutral tint to make it slightly darker. And I'm going to just draw with my brush straight to the design. In some areas I will add neutral tint here. And I also want to add the red. Oh, I wanted to add the ultramarine blue that's actually purple. You can actually do that with Prism brush because it's large enough to hold this amount of water. Like I said, this process is very random, but I like the pops of orange and the red. I need more purple. I need to get it there somehow. So also let's fill her hair. Just want to preserve some of these white spots. And it looks like a complete giant mess. I'm still using Prism brush. I want to get rid of these large pools and then dry everything. At this stage, the process looks incredibly unsavable, but we will use negative painting technique in the next layer to get the best bits of this texture and cover the rest with the background. Let's dry this and we'll see. First layer is dry, and let's now do the stylization. Sometimes I use white colored pencils that are a little bit opaque to see if I can add some elements that I want to keep before I darken everything. What I would like to do actually is to maybe draw in some of these botanical elements, like here maybe continuation of this leaf. And maybe I would leave just here something like a floral shape. Maybe here also with the darker pencil. Some leafy shapes and another floral shape. I love this texture here, so a few of these floral shapes here as well. Maybe some in the hair too. And we'll see how that goes. Again, I will use the Prism brush for this. I will try to dark background, like the neutral tint with the green here. And I will try to leave everything that I've drawn kind of like behind. Therefore, cover parts of the background. And here we can create new shapes. This is called negative painting technique. In some areas I can use more blue to be mixed with the neutral tint, and in others green. Just have to be careful how I use this around the silhouette of the face. Here I have to be super careful. This brush is so precise, it's like a knife. Maybe here I will go around these shapes. Here I cover some of this leaf. And here I just use blues with the neutral tint. Maybe I want to cover this as well. float tiny bit. Let's use some of these colors like red to create pops. This is beautiful pigmented color and it will really work well in such dark background. We'll have to wait and see. I also wanted to do background inside this hair. Maybe inside the hair we will use a little bit of the brown. To add some of the little floral elements with the Prism brush and connect them with green, trying to basically cut out of the background these leafy shapes. Looks unfixable, I know. Sketchbooks are for this. We have to explore. Without exploration and without dealing with your fear of failing a painting, there is no progress. We always have to fail in order to find something new, something that works. Like, I'm not saying that it is not discouraging, it's incredibly uncomfortable to fail, but with every fail, we learn something new. And now I will dry. I just found out that I totally love the painting, but I would just cut this part of the composition and this is the composition that I would keep. This is awesome because when I do my final piece, I don't have to ruin such a large paper. So I'm just going to try to take the neutral tint, my quill brush, because that's the largest one, and just paint this part. Now that I've figured out the composition, I want to finish the painting. We do not yet have the face shaded. I want to now mix the cadmium red with the blue cobalt to create a mixture that I want to use as a shadow. And I can dilute it a little bit. Now let's try to apply. For this I'm using the round brush. This is the number 8. Shadows go here as well. And I'll just apply layers in some areas that will have a bit more depth. I will now use the round brush number 2 for details, especially in the eye. I would like to use this blue color and the ultramarine blue also to paint the insides of the eye. We'll probably use some white in the end. Maybe the white pencil will be enough for details. And we'll also try to use the round brush to create some of these dry brush technique for the hair. So here, top of the head is slightly darker. And here as well is a corner that is slightly darker. Every time that I need to create like really dramatic darkness, I use the neutral tint. It's pretty strong color. So neutral tint is never black, but it is neither warm or cool. You can use it easily for darkening colors, and it's not as dull as black can sometimes be. Maybe with clear neutral tint I can emphasize this corner and make the silhouette here pop in here as well. And I need to use it also for the eyes to create a like dark gaze and some this makeup and lashes. Sketching with the tip of the brush here some of the brows. Again, the dry brush should work here. Deepen some of these. And we have to use the rigger for some floating hair, so that's gonna be mostly dark brown and orange, maybe some red. And let's see what the rigger can help us with. It's just these tiny floats here around the face. I love to add them, they're beautiful detail. They can literally like flow around the design. Not too many though. and it's starting to take shape. Never abandon your sketch until you feel like, I don't know, you've destroyed paper, but no matter how many layers I add, this paper holds, and I didn't even clip it because I forgot. Here there's clip, but on the other side there's no clip. Keep at it. If you have quality paper, then for sketch, it can manage, it can hold plenty of layers. Okay, maybe a few minor tweaks with the tiny little brush. Just like, I do not like how I shaped the nose, it's not very well done. Maybe I can fix it, maybe I can't. I'm again going to use the Prism brush to clean up a little bit, but I need a clean tissue as well. This shape, this pretty large brush, clean water on it, and we can try to rub some places that need lightening and then lift with the tissue. You have to have a brush that has some volume and that has sturdier bristles. Look how much it helps. It helps incredibly. The shape of the brush helps me to clean up small areas. So here, clean up a large area, and it helps the facial shape very much. Look at this. Should have thought about it before. Oh yes, I like the face now. We can do the same for some parts of the hair, like here. This part of the head should get some more light. Now here I lost some of these eyebrows, but I'm gonna get that back. The design started to be like so much fun for me with this, and fiddle with tiny little parts of this design for hours. Draw the like the mid part of these flowers. With thick pigment you can do that. Let me add a few more blue drops. I'm missing blue, some color to pop. Maybe it won't hold, but we'll see. This is like 4th layer of watercolor and it still holds. The paper still did not break. Okay, I will sharpen the pencil and will add some final details with the white pencil. You can add pencils easily as an element into your sketchbook. You can definitely combine techniques. Just use them for experiment. Sometimes I use the pencils to find out if I lost too much light, what the piece would look like if I added some extra light. So I always liked combining techniques in my sketchbook. Here it's time for exploring, for figuring out what could be done with the composition. I definitely like to frame some parts of the artwork. Here I don't like this. If you have an eraser, you can get rid of that. If you don't like some part, I would like to do this strong contour now around the piece. And this is also how you can create stylization. I like to impact this area as well. So I absolutely love using my sketchbook in a way that helps me envision the painting, and once I finished my sketch, I know in that moment whether I feel inspired to remake this piece or not, or if it didn't work out. In case that it didn't, then the reflection is what helps me. Sometimes I write notes and just name the problem. That is the ultimate thing that I feel is important for progress. Please guys, use anything that you have at home, anything that you have, any tool at your disposal into your sketchbook. It should be a free space to experiment. Even markers or, I don't know, unusual supplies. Use coffee in your sketchbook. All the materials that I worked with today are linked down below in the video description. And now time for the giveaway. Strathmore is giving one of you 3 of these beautiful art supplies that I used today. It's Strathmore 400 series watercolor sketchbook, the new Princeton Aqua Elite Prism brush, and also this lovely Maimeri Blu pen set. To enter this giveaway, leave a comment answering this question: what would you paint in this sketchbook first and why? Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel for future updates, and I will pick a winner on 1st of March 2026 and reply directly to your comment, and I will also pin the winner. Full giveaway rules are in the description. And in the next video, I'm going to take this exact sketch and turn it into a larger finished watercolor painting on full-size paper. Let's hope that that goes well, and I will see you there. Bye!